to Faye, and she's going to explain some important information about how we look after our kids in Hope Church.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Faye. I'm the youth pastor here, and I am also one of the I'm the deputy safeguarding person, and Damien is the lead safeguarding person in the church. And we just wanted to just highlight this. As we've come back together, we've been working really hard to try and bring ourselves up to date with, because people hadn't been in church and we hadn't had kids groups, we'd kind of got behind on our DBS checks and all of those things. So we've been rapidly kind of trying to catch up over the last couple of months to get things in a good place. But just to say, if you're wondering what is safeguarding, it's a measure taken to protect someone or to prevent something undesirable. And so safeguarding in this church is to do that, to protect someone or something that's undesirable. And we wanted to say this morning that safeguarding is everybody's responsibility. It's your responsibility. It's my responsibility. Just because, I am the youth pastor in this church doesn't mean that I'm the one who's responsible for it. We are all responsible to look out for people who may be struggling in some way, whether that be adults or children. And you might be sitting there thinking, well, does this really count? Why would we do this as Christians? Well, I think there is a biblical mandate for us. So in Exodus, and repeatedly throughout the Bible, it talks about not exploiting the widows and the orphans, those who are more vulnerable amongst us. In Proverbs 31, it talks about speaking up for the voiceless and the vulnerable. And in Isaiah 61, it talks about bringing comfort to the brokenhearted. And we meet many people who are brokenhearted in this world. And the Lord has put his Spirit upon all of us here to be a comfort to those who are brokenhearted. And one of my favorite verses in Micah 6, it says, "What does the Lord require of us? To act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God." And so God has called us as Christians, as those who follow him, to be those who act justly, that see justice is done, to speak up for the voiceless, and to not exploit other people. And so we value this really highly as something that God has called us to do. And so just to let you know, Catherine's not here today, but Catherine Wilson is on the safeguarding team, and Damien is our safeguarding lead, and I am also on the safeguarding team, and Amanda will be coming on as well, who's our kids pastor, who's probably out doing registration and sorting out the registration at the moment. And just to let you know what we have in place is that we have a safer recruitment policy. So we have a policy of the way that we recruit people who are responsible to looking after our young people in our church. We have a code of conduct and working practice for our team. And you will know that we have registration as we come in, and to make sure that we've got safe numbers for our young people. And we also have some professional bodies for advice. So Elim safeguarding team, who are absolutely excellent. We've had contact with them in recent months, and they have been absolutely brilliant in supporting us and advising us. And also we are part of something called 318, which used to be called the CCPAS, and is a Christian organisation which advised churches. And we've also had the privilege of being able to have their help many times, and I have over the years. And and so if you were ever concerned about an adult who you considered to be going through a vulnerable time, or a child, then the people to report that to within our church is Damien, who's leading the service today, myself, Amanda. Oh, Amanda is there. Amanda, wave. And Catherine. I don't know have we got the photo of them up? Oh, you could see Catherine. Catherine's up there. And David Smith, who is also not here today, but David is one of our adult safeguarding leads. And so if there was somebody you were concerned about, we'd love you to pass that on to us. It may be just a little thing, but it might be that someone else has also told us something, and it builds a picture that actually there is a young person or an adult who is in some sort of danger, and it might just create a picture for us. And what we would really like you not to do is to talk to other people about that if you have a concern. Sometimes we sort of think, oh, is it a concern? Should I talk to? And we talk to lots of other people. But if you have a concern, please come to us, and then we will pass it on to the people that we feel it's right, or we'll get the advice that we need. But also there are other bodies that you could contact. Obviously the police, if you thought somebody was in danger. I don't know whether we have those. Do we have those numbers up on the slide? There are obviously, the NSPCC as well, who you can ask for advice if you're unsure. So although we're family, and we are family as a church and as a people of God, we also meet in a public building. And so there are different groups that come into this building. So it's one reason why we think that it's really important to do that. But we're also a church that is open for all. Everybody is welcome here. And we are family. We don't take a register of all the people that are here. So it's really important for us to value that. Now, we have worked really hard over the years. We've had some great safeguarding leads. Louise, who was before us, and a lady called Janet Brown before, and they've just helped us to maintain. We've worked really hard to maintain a safe environment for our children and adults. Now, we can't always safeguard against everything that would happen outside the church and in people's families, but we seek to make this an environment which is as safe as possible, and to be a voice that can speak up for those who need us and need us to speak up for them in certain times. And the church is well placed to help those who are vulnerable, but it's also well placed to help for those who are seeking to turn their lives around. And you and I, we are ministers of that, to see people's lives turned around, but also to be there to protect the vulnerable. But we need to work together and act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God as we see God's truth and freedom lifted up in this town. And we will find more and more we reach out, the more broken people we're going to come across, and the more possible situations that we'll come across. But we are well equipped to do it. We have the Spirit of God with us. We have the truth of God. And we want to invite you to be part of our safeguarding team, to be part of that, to make sure that we are protecting those that need protecting. So that's all I have to say about that today. So I hope that's helpful. Damien will be sending some stuff out in the newsletter this week if you want to know more, but please do